This is Will Humphreys. I'm the Chief Rockstar here, and I'm here to go over a really cool concept that's going to 10x your time. This isn't just like, an empty promise. This is an actual process we're going to go over today. And so thank you for joining me live. For anyone who is going to join me, I am going to be obviously recording this and possibly utilizing this for like a podcast or some other stuff. But right now, the big thing is I'm practicing this presentation because I'll be speaking tomorrow at an event called TherapyCon here in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I'd love to, if you have any comments or questions, please chime in. Otherwise, I'm just going to go right through a process that I'm excited to teach you guys. It's all about how to 10x your time, the automation and delegation playbook. And guys, obviously I created this so I can help business owners free up their time, but this is for anybody. If you're looking to open a business one day, if you're looking just to like free up your time, if you're feeling slammed, and you're not sure how to create precious time, then let's get right into it. This is going to be a fun experience as we go through this together. So going right now over to my PowerPoint presentation. You can see the very attractive virtual rockstar screen. So by the time I'm done here, you will leave with a personal time liberation plan that you can implement immediately. This isn't something that's like super long and complex. This is going to be something we're going to get right into and have lots of fun with. So my goal for today is to give you real life help that pays for your ticket to TherapyCon, obviously at a minimum. So time is money. You've heard this phrase before, right? Super important to remember that when we are spending time on anything, it's going to cause us to not do something else. So if we say yes to one thing, we are saying no to multiple things. And so what should we say yes to in life? Well, there's different concepts of prioritizing what matters to us in the long term versus the short term. But I want you guys to really think about what you would do with time if you had some extra time on your hands, right? So getting back to the PowerPoint video, I want you guys first to know who I am. Who is this guy who's going live across all the different LinkedIns and YouTubes. So let me tell you, first of all, I am what I believe. And because I'll be speaking tomorrow to a bunch of rehab owners, I do believe this, that physical therapy, occupational and speech therapy, these leaders were born to lead musculoskeletal. All problems that we face as leaders are solved when we focus on solving our problems by using who, not how. So many times we get caught up in the technical aspect of how we're supposed to figure out our problems. But problems should be addressed by hiring people or leveraging people and not just sitting back and waiting for things to resolve on their own. We're always spent time trying to figure out how to do it. This is the best time in the history of our industry to become a leader in the PTO. But this is who I really am. Anyone out there who's watching, this is who I really am. I'm this picture of the 17-year-old kid. I became a physical therapist initially it was 1993 when I went mountain climbing. I was a junior in high school 3 days before my senior year started. It was Friday the 13th. And in this episode, I was working to impress this girl that I was with. So I decided to go mountain climbing. And so I was climbing this face of a mountain and fell 50 feet, 5 stories, and broke both arms and both legs. I shattered 21 bones in my body. Back over here so I can see my face. This experience was life-changing. It was a really big deal because we ended up having, obviously my whole family had to pivot around my recovery. Breaking that many bones, having that many surgeries was very expensive. And my dad had just lost his job. A whole number of things were going on at that time. And so for me, having this accident completely changed how I operated, obviously. And I remember being at home super depressed when my physical therapist came in, and I was dreading the day that my physical therapist was going to come in. She came in, saw me laying there, and with the biggest smile on her face, and I hated her guts instantly. She was so positive. She came in with like this ball of light and hope, and I was laying there depressed and down, and she helped me stand up and walk for the first time. And there was something about her energy that just sold me on becoming a physical therapist. From that point on, that's all I wanted to do was become a PT, and I did. And later I went on to start a few companies, and I'll share those with you right now. So this is a picture of me again. These are a picture of the article that came out when it fell. Here are the companies I've started. Fish from a Place of Social Food. I've started a handful of companies over the years. I've sold a number of them as well. I'm currently working in VirtualBox, so this guy down on the right. This is where I'm going to talk a little bit about today, but I have had the great privilege of starting various projects over the years and being successful at them. So you're going to be in one of these three buckets right now as you're watching this. Number one, you rarely take time off and struggle with taking care of yourself due to limited time. I'm going to turn off the music. I thought it'd be fun to have it. There we go. So this is the three buckets you're probably going to fall into. Number one, I rarely take time off and struggle while taking care of myself due to limited time. Number two, I can take a vacation but come home to tons of issues in work. Number three, I can take a month off and my company can function without me. Dream about number three. How cool would be number three? Unbelievable, right? Just a gift to have that ability to take a month off at a time and never have any issues. But obviously, most people are going to be in that first or second bucket. I really take time off and struggle with taking care of myself due to limited time. So yeah, what would happen, guys, if I gave you 15 hours a week? If I was able to help you create 15 hours a week of time, what would you do with it? If you're listening, please put in the comments. What would you do with that time? Let's see here. Cool. So for many people, that might be exercising. It might be, I don't know, taking care of themselves. It might be spending more time with their kids or their parents or family members. It might be going on trips. It might be developing a hobby they've always wanted to do. Maybe you've always wanted to become an actor or a comedian. There's so many different things in life that we just don't give time for. And yet our time on this earth is so precious. There's so many things that we're meant to do in this life. And yet work consumes so much of our existence. So 15 hours, I want you to think about why this matters so much. You know, as we look at time, think about it from one of these places. First, if you live to the age of 78 years old, you get approximately 4,000 weeks of life. That's it. We get 4,000 weeks in our life. So what we trade minutes for trades our future. Think about that for a second. Now listen, this is where the numbers start to become very interesting. Per year, if you can improve 2 hours a week, if you can free up 2 hours a week, you end up getting almost 2 full work weeks every year of time. What would you do with 2 full weeks? What would that look like? That's 13 8-hour workdays. That's almost 2 full work weeks you get back by improving just 2 hours a week. And it's interesting because when you go across just after, not just for that year, what happens when you go 20 years? Now you're looking at a work year. For every 20 years of life, you get a whole nother year of life not working. Now, here's the other question I have for you guys if you're watching this, is that if you could get back that year, right? If you could get back that work year by 2 hours of a week freed up per week, what would your life look like if you could free up 4, right? That would be one extra year every 10 years. What would happen if it was 6? That'd be one extra year every 5 years. I mean, it's this concept that is unbelievable when we think about how much time we spend in our life doing things that we can do that we hate. So what are the things that you guys hate doing in life? Yeah, what things at work do you hate doing? These are important questions to ask because some things in life that we do feed our soul, other things drain our soul. And life is too short to live a life where we are drained. We want to focus on those things that matter the most. Relationships, right? Movement, exploration, creation. These are the things that matter. So it's no small thing when we can free up even 2 hours a week. I'm going to show you how to do that right here. All right, let's get over here now. And I'm going to show you guys how to do something called the time leak audit. A time leak audit is pretty cool because we're going to look about how these hours just kind of leak out of our lives and create inefficiencies, burnout, and exhaustion. The concept is really simple. Our time will leak in 3 key areas. Repetitious activities, these are things that we do over and over again. Reactionary activities, these are interruptions. Man, the energy loss of interruptions. You're working on a project, someone pops in, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Or you're a mother. Mothers are like, the energy drain of mothers in this area is exponential. A mother is doing something in the home. The child comes in. Why is the sky blue? I need food. Like, I guess the constant reaction is where so much of our time and energy drain. And then there's the retention risk. These are things that we are doing that other people should be doing. And why do we hold on to those? Why do we do things that we know our team members and other people should be doing? Put that in the comments, but I'll tell you, for many people, it's a matter of like not trusting that they're going to do it as well. It's a matter of them thinking that they have to do it because they just don't know how to get that person. They don't know how to delegate that out. And then there's this other thing about like, they do it because it takes just as much time to give it to them as it is to do it. So they keep doing it. And energy and time continues to drain. So we're going to take a second and go over our time leak worksheet together. I'm really excited about this. All right, let's see. So I'm going to pull that up over here. Let's see if I can get this to work. I got it. Okay, so here we are. This is the time liberation worksheet. If anyone wants this, I'll put this in the chat and you guys can all have a copy. But the time liberation worksheet is such a cool process because we are going to use this to determine where most of your leaks exist. All right. So right now, you guys are going to list 5 tasks from the last week in the areas of repetition, reaction, and retention. These are things that you do that you hate, that you just do over and over again, that you think you might be able to give to somebody else. Reactionary, these are constant things that you get interrupted over, or people. This can be a person, this can be a task, this can be something that gets interrupted all the time. And then retention. These are things that you're doing that you know you should give to somebody else. Okay. So step 1 is we're going to do this audit. And then when I'm doing this presentation tomorrow, I'm going to make sure I ask people in the audience, like, what are those things that you're doing? What are those areas? Can we share some examples? Step 2 is that we're going to apply the automation ladder. Okay, so for each task above, we're going to teach you right now how to get rid of those things forever. So going back to this. Actually, I don't have that. Good catch. The automation. Oh, there we go. So we go through the automation ladder. There's 3 things we always do with any task. We eliminate, we automate, we delegate. So going back to this, there are repetitious tasks, there's reactionary tasks, retention risks, things that are constantly draining our time and energy. But when it comes to how we solve this, we only do 3 things. We eliminate, we automate, we delegate. Eliminate, automate, delegate. Eliminate things that don't matter, things that we think are important, but yeah, we keep spending time and energy doing that. We automate. These are things that we can have technology do. And then delegate. We have things that people can do. So here's an example of each of those. Elimination, reports that no one reads, and they require double entry. Talking about like a patient going to the clinic for the first time. They're going to go in there and fill out their new patient paperwork. How many times we put the same information on multiple pieces of paper? Date of birth, 4 different times. Phone number, 3 different times. This creates a lag in time. And like Alex Ramosi says, speed is the greatest powerful force in business. So for us to eliminate reports and those types of repetitious activities is a huge. Automate. This is where we could appoint reminders, billing follow-ups, those types of things, and then delegate. This is the magic. Delegation is where the real magic happens. What are the things that we should be doing that either drain us or are taking up our time that we shouldn't be doing? How much are we worth per hour? So in a small brainstorm, I'm going to have 3 groups of 3. People are going to pick one task from their sheet and do a group brainstorm on how to move up that ladder. Then they're going to share the implications of that delegation. I want to talk about what they think that's going to save them in terms of money or time over the next year. Yeah, so just to review, the time leak audit is all about helping us identify where we're draining time. And again, things we look at are repetition, reaction, retention. Repetition, things that we do over and over again that we just repeatedly do. They're either easy or small, so we just keep doing them. reactionary things that we do that result in being interrupted a lot, or just people or processes that interrupt us all the time, you know? So for example, a front desk receptionist, a reactionary interruption would be like her phone ringing. People call and schedule out of the blue. That's going to be a reactionary leak of time, depending on how that's being handled. And then there's a retention risk. And this is the big one, doing things that we should give to other people, things that either drain us of energy or things that other people really should be doing, but we're not giving it to them for various reasons. So again, I'm going to have in this time leak worksheet, everyone's going to list 5 tasks from the last week that fit into each of these categories. Then they're going to mark those for red, yellow, green. Are these things that drain our energy, don't give us or drain our energy, or give us energy? And then we're going to share with each other. Then we're going to talk about how to get from that time leak audit. We're going to use the automation ladder to show people how to eliminate, automate, and delegate. And this I'm going to have them do in groups of 3, so that each person picks one task from their sheet and the group brainstorms on how to move up the ladder. And then they're going to share the implications of that delegation. I think it's really important for people when they're delegating and learning how to free up their time. I think it's essential that they understand the future implications of what they're doing. What measured gets improved. So if we're measuring things that we're doing in our day and we just automatically go through them and then we measure it and go, wow, we might come to the realization that we're spending a lot of time doing crap that we really shouldn't be doing. You know, and this isn't just at work. We're going to do some home examples here in a little bit, but there's ultimately this concept of energy and divine gift. We have a capability to impact the world in a very unique way. All of us have special gifts. The more time we spend in those gifts, the more energy we get back, the more we enjoy life, and the bigger impact we make in people's lives. So again, there's small tasks and there's a financial element to this. If we're not financially wealthy, we can't delegate out having somebody else cook our food. But there are so many resources that are bubbling up that would surprise you how many of those are more affordable than you would think. There are so many ways that we can free up our time if we just took the time to measure what we're doing and determine and forecast the leak of energy and time in our life that we spend doing it. So in these small 3-person groups, my hope is that they're going to identify one task from their sheet and they're going to brainstorm how to move up that ladder to get that done. And then they're going to share that implication. So again, kind of review all this. I'm going to explain why time matters and measuring it's important. We're going to do an audit of time using repetition, reaction, and retention as the main focus. They're going to get together and list 5 tasks from the previous week that fit into each category, marking them with energy drains. And then we're going to teach them the automation ladder. We're going to go through this process of elimination, automation, and delegation. In 3-person groups, they're going to pick one task and they're going to brainstorm on how to move that task up the ladder and out of their life, and then share the implications of how that's going to work. This is going to be a fun process because I think this is going to give people time to really interact and connect. The important thing here I'm going to focus on afterwards is going to be the delegation mastery. Delegation is the key to magnification in life. Again, you don't have to be a business owner to appreciate this. For us, when we are delegating, that's when we're in a position where we are able to truly magnify our calling on this earth, as well as empower people. So many times we don't give other tasks, duties, and responsibilities to other people or companies because we're proud. You know, if you were raised in a home where your dad fixed everything, it's like, well, no, I'm not paying anyone to fix my stuff. Well, if you don't love doing it and you can afford to pay someone else to do it, your time is going to be a lot more worthwhile to you to make more money doing what you love than spending time doing that, right? But you have to learn, we all have to learn how to delegate, whether that's to a person or another company. So how do we delegate? Well, listen, when it comes down to delegation, we're talking about hiring. We don't hire to grow, we hire to buy back our time. Most people don't delegate because they don't feel like they're going to be done as well. Other people will do it as well. They also feel like it's faster if they do it themselves. So here's the 70% rule. If what we delegate to somebody else, a company or a person, can be done 70% as well as what we could do on our own, then they'll surpass us with practice and ultimately free us up to do what we love. So here's the delegation flywheel. Select the right person. Here, let me show you the screen here. I've got a little PowerPoint for you. So you have to select the right person or company, set clear outcomes, not just steps, and then support with training and tools. And then we have to step back, review, and improve. What's hard for us when we're delegating to companies or people to help us free up our time, oftentimes this is the part that scares us. We have to be willing to step back and let it fail a little bit. If someone does it 70% as well as we're doing it, that's still really good, but that's 30% of a failure, either in terms of inefficiencies or just like dropping the ball. So when we step back, letting go of control is an essential piece of us becoming leaders. Because leaders, our number one priority is to make more leaders. We can't make more leaders unless we delegate. And so we have to let them fail, because failure isn't a part of learning. It is learning. The only way to learn is by learning through our own mistakes or through someone else's mistakes. That's why coaches are so valuable. So as we're delegating these elements out, delegation flywheels teach us how we can create a liberation time plan. So this is the part of the delegation I want to go through. So delegation is a matter of do, constantly update your key priorities. Don't expect people to read your mind. Don't be guilty of drive-by delegations. Don't understand the time it takes to do things. Don't create messes by thinking you can do everything yourself. Don't micromanage, and don't be impatient. Let other people grow. All right, so we're going to pick 3 tasks from that worksheet and assign each to eliminate, automate, or delegate. Now, this is similar to what we did before here, where in our 3 groups, we picked 1 task and moved it up. So now we're going to pick 3 more tasks from that list and assign to eliminate, automate, or delegate. And then for the delegation piece, we're going to write down who will take that on and when. All right, so I'm going to go back to my screen here. Let's share screen again. This time I'm going to come to my, where's my worksheet here? There it is. Again, there's the time link audit just for review. There's the applying the automation ladder, and then the time liberation plan. This is when you automate, delegate, and who you're giving it to and by when. So yeah, very excited about that. When you can create this as a process and you do this repeatedly, you'll find yourself in a position where you're starting to really free up your time. I had the privilege of working with Alex Hermosi in person 2 Fridays ago. I spent 12 hours with him. And what he told me, I'll never forget. He said, it is so important that you don't keep expanding new projects until your world becomes very quiet as a business owner. So as business owners, our goal is to go very quiet. We want to be very still. When there's not as much to do and things are operating well, 2 things will happen, he says. Number 1, you'll be making more money than you've ever made. Number 2, that's when you can select the next thing to focus on that will explode your business. But until we wait for that, until we create space for that, all we'll do is end up spreading thin all of our efforts. And so delegation and freeing up our time is such a big piece of it. Here's a really cool example email on how to delegate. I have 2 different email tools that I'll be sharing at that conference. And if you'd like more information, I can do those as well. So 10 things practice leaders could delegate at home. This is for everyone. Man, woman, child. If you're in your home, we can delegate our house cleaning, meal prep, yard work, pet care, home maintenance, laundry and dry cleaning, household organization, errand running, child transportation, home admin. A virtual assistant can manage your bills, schedules, personal assistants. These are all things that we invest our money in to help free up our time to do what we love. And ironically, we're feeding other people. A lot of times we think that the crap we don't want to do is crap for everybody. But sometimes that crap for us is a gift to others. People love running businesses in these areas or doing these things. And by giving them something that gives them energy and money, we're freeing up our time and money and making it more worthwhile for us. So for every hour a week you free up, you get another 6 days per year to grow, lead, or live. That's the marker I want to remind you of. What's the very first thing you're going to take off your plate when you get home? So remember, when it comes to solving problems, who, not how. My who is a girl named Kim. Kim is my virtual executive assistant who changed my life. This is us in the Philippines. This is me meeting her for the first time. I am not that tall. I'm 6'1". She is just that short. We had such a special time meeting her and my team of virtual assistants. That's my main company. I run virtual assistant services for business leaders. And we are so blessed to have hundreds of people that we get to work with overseas that are so excited to do the things that business owners don't want to do. And it feeds their families, it changes their lives, it helps them grow and become the leaders in their life they were meant to be. So we have to remember that when we're holding on to tasks that drain our energy, we are really resisting what could be possible. My journey has not only taken me to the Philippines, but to Africa. When I freed up my time and my money, I was able to give back. And this was such a gift for us to be able to spend time with people who do not have what we have. I didn't realize that my screen wasn't on. So this is my Filipino team, and this is Kim that I was referring to. So yeah, here we are in Africa, just a huge blessing to spend time with the individuals here. So for anyone who's watching, you get the following free things. Just type in free and I'll make sure you get these. You get a free completed teamwork template, free delegation template. You get Alex Hormozi's book, The $100 Million Money Offer, free access to an unlimited private practice community, a stress-free PT newsletter. This is the only comedy newsletter that exists in the PTOT SLP world. And you get free access to my podcast. I'd also like to invite everyone to join me in my Rockstar Summit. We have over 100 PTOT and SLP entrepreneurs coming to help us learn how to recruit, train, and retain. We also have students there to recruit. So if you'd like more information on the Rockstar Summit, it's March 6th through the 8th. Just scan this QR code. But you can also just text this information to Willpower. This is my number there. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the time that you guys have put into letting me just kind of pull this up. I'm going to minimize and eliminate these things here off my calendar. Very nice. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I sure appreciate the time that you guys have taken to be with me. And yeah, I just want you to know how much I appreciate everyone. This is such a gift and opportunity to share this with you. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and we'll see you next time.